In the final episode of our 3-part adventure, we explore some of the most spectacular scenery that the Australian outback has to offer. We leave Longreach and drive approximately 2 hours to Winton. Already the change in landscape is becoming drier and rockier and will continue to change every few kilometres throughout the rest of our journey. The main attraction in Winton is the Australian Age of Dinosaurs Museum, where visitors get the opportunity to see real dinosaur fossils. Open 7 days a week in winter and 6 days a week in summer, from 8:30am to 5pm, the museum is divided into different facilities. $55 for adults and $30 for children aged 5 and above will allow you to explore the fossil preparation laboratory, collection room, and dinosaur canyon. Once we made it to the top of the large mesa, also known as the jump up, we were welcomed with an intense dry heat. I don't think we've ever felt such a harsh heat before, and it was hard to escape it when we weren't directly indoors. Though you can jump in your car and drive from the main entrance of the museum to the fossil preparation laboratory, we decided to take the self-guided walk to the facility. Between the 15 minutes that we had to get to the tour on time and full forced weight of exhaustion that the heat seemed to push down upon us, it was a real struggle to get to our first venue. I would suggest giving yourself a good 25 to 30 minutes for the walk and packing a couple of ice-cold drink bottles for the trek. At this end of the museum, we got a glimpse into the facility that holds the largest collection of fossilised Australian dinosaur bones. Here, we learnt about how dinosaur bones are found and watched as trained volunteers uncovered these bones directly in front of us. We escaped the heat in the collection room, where we watched a video that informed us of the types of dinosaurs that had been discovered in this part of Australia and what they would have looked like. The guide further elaborated on the 2 dinosaurs who had been given the names Banjo and Matilda, and opened the room up to questions that the audience may have had.
The collection room. This was built in 2012. It is purpose-built to house our holotype specimens. So it's 23 degrees in here all year round. It's quite comfortable. There's no flies. It's very low humidity and no natural light. That's the best environment to keep these bones in. They are the real thing.
And you wouldn't expect to find it out here. So this is where the bone is found.
All that armour, all that wrinkle, it's all observed. Yes, Asia, probably not, and Florida, so China or Russia.
The Dinosaur Canyon is accessible by the Nobel Express shuttle, which is a quick 10-minute ride. Once you get to the outpost, you pick up your dinosaur tracings guide and a coloured pencil from the undercover area so that you can take home impressions of the dinosaurs that you visit along the way. This was actually quite a fun addition to the tour and made for a great souvenir. On our way through the town of Winton, we stopped at the musical fence to have a little jam session. We also visited Arno's Park to check out a unique attraction. Arno's wall extends for approximately 70 metres and contains all sorts of random household items. Leaving Winton, we made our way down a dirt road to Bladensburg National Park, where we stopped for the night. I don't think we've ever seen so many stars in the sky before. The next morning we used duct tape to seal the caravan vents and lowered the tyre pressure. We were ready for the dusty drive that lay ahead. We're making our way down to Windora, but before we get there, we've stopped at the Dinosaur Stampede, where we'll get to see some real-life dinosaur footprints. At the Dinosaur Stampede National Monument, you'll see a dramatic landscape that was created by water, where sediments from ancient lakes and seas have been carved by the runoff from storms. As a result, this landscape has been termed by scientists as dissected residuals. Inside of the museum, you'll see the fossilized footprints of at least 150 dinosaurs that walked upon the land 95 million years ago. In the 1960s, Glenn Seymour, the local station manager, thought he had come across fossilized bird tracks. Instead, he found the only recorded evidence of a dinosaur stampede in the world. We're back on the dirt road and heading as far south towards Windora as possible. I can't tell you the invigorating feeling of freedom we felt to look in every direction around us and see an area completely uninhabited by people, to drive on a dirt freeway and not see a single car for hours. We pulled up on the side of the road at the most picturesque campsite to date. I don't think we could ever forget how beautiful it was to watch the sunset from this perfect site. Despite the amazing view from our campsite, we suffered through a windy night that had the camper trailer rocking about. At least we were up early enough to see the sunrise, which instantly lifted our spirits. Though Google Maps will tell you that it takes 14 hours to drive from Winton to Windora via the Winton-Junda Dirt Road, it would have taken us approximately 7 hours all up. Driving on a spacious dirt road was so easy, and the landscape seemed to change around us every 2 minutes. It is definitely a must-do if you're ever out here. We've made it to Junda and are ready to fill up the cars with fuel. I couldn't help but giggle when we stopped at the biggest petrol station in town. In fact, I think it was the only station in town. Tonight we'd be sleeping along the peaceful bank of Cooper's Creek, which is located 10 kilometres from the township of Windora.
Left here.
Your left.
After a bit of downtime and some afternoon tea, we make our way into the town of Windora for a quick playground stop before travelling to my favourite place in this entire trip, the red sandhills of Windora. This natural piece of landscape is a red so vibrant that you can't help but stare, and the hundreds of galahs that dance about in the sky just add to the wondrous atmosphere of this location. The next morning we make our way to Charleville for the final destination of our outback trip. We stayed at the Charleville Bush Caravan Park and Cottage, which had very clean facilities and welcoming hosts that made a campfire damper for guests along with some friendly conversation. A night on a powered site is $33 or an unpowered site costs $25. This includes access to toilets, showers and cooking facilities. The Charleville Cosmos Centre and Observatory is an absolute must-do. In the Astronomy by Day package, you'll get to check out the museum and experience a sun viewing, but the general observatory session at night is really the experience that you need to book in to see.
So this one's only a laser, not a laser gun. That's another thing the boss won't let me get. I've already talked about putting...
We've just finished our show at the Cosmos Centre and Observatory here in Charleville. We decided to get the Galaxy package, which included a self-guided tour around the museum, a sun viewing session during the daytime, and here at night we've just had our session where we got to look through some telescopes to have a look at some planets, and we got to see things like Saturn and Jupiter. So it's definitely a fun experience and something really exciting and worthwhile coming along to. You can't go through Charleville without coming to visit the bilbies. These cute creatures are a big attraction for the town, so it's important to call up and book in advance if you want the chance to cuddle one of these cuties. It's been a massive 2 weeks travelling from Brisbane to the outback, and a big learning curve travelling with a toddler. But for now, we'll put an end to our travels until our next big adventure.